I am working on a video where I'm going to deep dive into the current state of YouTube. What's really working? Who can actually make it nowadays? All of the stuff that everybody wants to know. You know what I mean? Like the whole oh, we can guess about where YouTube is, or we have our own opinion about where YouTube is, but let's actually get to the bottom of it and see what's working on YouTube. And that is coming in a few weeks. I need a little more time to prepare. But in doing so, I want to talk about 3 trends that I'm seeing for YouTube in 2025 that if you want to grow on the platform, you should probably be tapping into. Hey, by the way, what is up? My name is Jessica. If you are new here, hello. Welcome. If you're into creatory things, business ownery things, and maybe even random internet topic things, because my interests are vast, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit subscribe. Also, if you love Gilmore Girls, you're gonna wanna subscribe. And if you wanna see that video that I was just talking about that is gonna come out in a couple weeks, you're gonna wanna subscribe. Like, we're interviewing YouTube people. It's going to be a good one. But for now, let's talk about these 3 trends that keep coming up over and over and over again while I'm really looking into this whole where is YouTube thing. First and foremost, we have to talk about shorts. We have to talk about shorts. Now listen, Linda, okay? I don't love shorts. And I've talked about that in other videos, but a lot of that is because the same people who watch short content aren't looking to watch long content. So if you grow a YouTube channel just on shorts and based on shorts, you're not really gonna be able to get the same benefits out of YouTube that a bunch of long form creators get, because that's where the ad money is, that's where the brand deals are. And those 2 audiences generally don't want to watch both pieces of content. But there is one thing that I think shorts are good for, and this is a trend that I see successful creators doing as we move into 2025, and a trend that you need to tap into, and that is using shorts to promote your longer content. Because I think there's a difference in just doing shorts for the sake of doing shorts and doing shorts that lead into your longer form content. Because if someone is interested in a short in a specific topic, if you pique their interest enough, they will come over and watch a long form piece of content. But they're not gonna do this on their own. They're not gonna be like, oh, I just watched a short about potatoes, growing potatoes. Let me go to the Google box or the YouTube box and type in how to grow potatoes and watch a long form video about it. That's not what they're gonna do. They're going to just keep scrolling their shorts. But the interesting part about YouTube is that we have the ability to link our shorts to our longer form content. So if you have a longer video about how to grow potatoes and you link that in a short form video about how to grow potatoes, the person who liked the video about how to grow potatoes in short form has the ability to then click over to your long form videos. So the reason I think this is different than in the past is in the past, it's kind of been either or. You're either a shorts creator or you're a long form creator. And I think now we have a good bridge to make them both work together. But I truly believe you should be long form first and worry about how shorts fit into your strategy as a secondary thing. This next one taps straight into the whole long form creator thing. And that is right now on YouTube, TV style content that works well on the TV, content that can compete with things on the TV is where it's at. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by this. Last year, YouTube overtook Netflix as the top streaming platform, and that's huge. Not only is that just by itself huge, but also that tells you that a lot of people are likely watching YouTube on their TVs, which we know they are. There's a lot of stats around that too. But people love to sit down and watch stuff that is episodic, that will keep their attention, that will give them something to watch for the length of a TV show. If someone is sitting down and pulls up YouTube on their TV and the video is 5 minutes long and they have to pick another one in a few minutes, they're likely not gonna watch it. But if it's 25, 30, even an hour long, then they're probably gonna settle in with some popcorn just like they would on Netflix and watch this thing. So last night I saw a video by Johnny Harris about how Mormons are a thing. I don't know, but stuff like that is super interesting to me. So I see this video and I watch it, and I watched it on my computer because that's where I saw it. But then I knew my husband would be interested in it, and there was a part 2, okay? So we sat down on the TV, pulled this video up, watched the whole part 1, switched to part 2, and we watched every bit of it on the TV. We chose to do that instead of watching How I Met Your Mother or instead of Gilmore Girls. And that is a huge trend we're seeing moving forward, is TV style content from YouTube. That is going to do really well. Now, this could mean a lot of things. This could mean episodic content. So there's 4 or 5 episodes, or even just 2 episodes or 2 parts or like whatever, right? But like episodic content in a way where someone watches part 1, then they need to watch part 2, then part 3. Maybe it's all in order. Maybe you publish it like, you know, every month, whatever. But something that's going to give somebody a way to watch different episodes just like they would on TV is a great way to tap into this like TV style. The other way is to create longer form content. So back in the day, the shorter the better. And that was the truth across like most topics, most niches, like all the things, right? But now the longer the better. But here's the thing. You shouldn't just make it long for the sake of it being long and have it full of filler content, because then people are gonna dip out. So when we're talking about the longer the better, we mean solid long content that's like 20 minutes plus. That's gonna help you tap into the TV style content that's doing really well on YouTube right now and will continue to do well as we move through 2025. This last trend is not rocket science. In fact, it has been a trend on YouTube forever, as far as I know, and that is to have a hyper niche topic channel. That might be the first time I've ever said niche instead of niche, but it sounded better in my head for what I was saying. And plus, y'all really like to come for me when I say niche. Niche, 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 niche. The riches are in the niches doesn't rhyme if you say the riches are in the niches, okay? Anyway, super hyper niche topic channels, like very, very hyper focused channels. That is going to perform really, really well on YouTube. And again, this has always been the case. Like my kids for years when they were little, and even my littlest one still now, he's 11, they would talk about starting gaming YouTube channels. And every single time I was like, you can't do that. It needs to be like a niche specific like thing, category inside of gaming, right? So are you only going to play Minecraft? Are you only going to play this other game? Are you only going to play certain types of games? Are you only going to play games in a certain way? You've got to have that very specific thing to stand out in a lot of these markets. Now, you also know that I don't love the idea of this. So I've talked a lot about how I'm ditching the niche, or how I don't want to niche down, or how a lot of people don't want to niche down. And I do think we kind of have 2 paradigms, 2 like opposites happening at the same time on YouTube. So I want to get into that in a second, but let's talk about these like hyper niche ones first. These types of channels are growing tremendously right now. If you want to create a channel about art with a Sharpie, you're going to grow faster than if you create a channel about art in general. If you create a channel about starting YouTube for people 50 and older, you're going to have more success than somebody who's starting a channel just about YouTube strategy as a whole, okay? So these like super niched, whatever, topic channels are going to go further, quicker than if we keep it broad, right? So as far as like trending goes, you know, tapping into that kind of thing can get you where you want to go faster than being more broad. But here's the thing. Also, look at my pen. Oh, is it gonna focus for me? I love it. Anyway, also though, you have to be really dedicated to this, love it. It be a thing that you're super passionate about, because it is really freaking easy to burn out on one topic, on these like super niche topic channels. If you start talking about iPhones and iPhones only, and you don't just love just iPhones, and you could talk about this forever, this is a topic you could talk about for 30 minutes unprompted and you would love every minute of it, you are going to burn out super freaking fast. So I really only recommend you do this trend if this is something that you're like really into. So for instance, if you're like a nerd about cameras, right? And you could talk about cameras all the time, like photography cameras all the time. And you could talk about like what makes the camera better than other cameras, and like, testing them out and like doing the things, and you would never get bored of that, then do it. But if you're like, I love cameras, but I also love this over here, and if I talk about cameras too much, I'm going to lose my mind. I also like this other topic, then I wouldn't recommend this. Because I also see the opposite happening on YouTube, which is a really interesting thing to look at from a perspective of, you know, these opposite strategies. And so this one's kind of like a bonus trend, because that was my 3, but here's number 4 to kind of offset number 3, okay? And that is broader, more personality-driven content. In my opinion, and this is full opinion, okay? I think that we are moving back towards the day of YouTube where vloggers and vlogging and personal things and personal branding is what people want to see. So back in the day, that's how YouTube was, right? Like you had the Casey Neistats of the world who literally just talked about their life, showed their day in the life, like showed the things, and that was the content, right? And we loved it because it was a look outside of what we live, or it was, you know, someone in our same city, or it was someone with our same interests. We loved every minute of it. And I don't think that's ever went truly away, but being able to grow as like a daily vlogger or a vlogger is not something that has been easy on the platform for a lot of years. But I think we're moving back towards a version of this, back towards a version of, hey, this channel is about me, my life, and here's how I'm gonna do it. I do think it can't be completely broad and completely all over the place, or people won't watch for you. But we all have our unique like personalities. We all have our unique lives, right? Like, yes, I'm a creator, right? Like that is my job, but I'm also a mom. I'm also a boy mom. I'm also a sports mom. I'm also a wife. I'm also someone who lives in a small town. I'm also someone who lives in the South. I'm also someone who has horses in her backyard. I'm also someone who is kind of silly and goofy and likes to do things like try to roller skate again at 38 years old. And I'm also someone who loves Gilmore Girls, and I'm also someone who loves cameras. I'm also someone who loves like digging into topics like why are MLMs bad? And I'm also someone who is obsessed with why Mormons can't drink coffee, right? I know I've mentioned Mormons a few times in this video. I'm not a Mormon hater at all. It's just on the top of my head. All of those things make me who I am as a creator, because those things are not what makes you who you are as a creator. If someone who lives in my exact small town wanted to start being a creator, they would have different things that make them fun to watch as a creator, even though we live in the same small town, right? So embracing this like broader, more personal, brandy style of channel can really come in handy if you're someone who doesn't want to go super niche specific. But here's the thing, I think you have to choose one or the other. You're not going to be able to float in that middle ground of like, I don't bring in a lot of my personality, you know, I'm here, but I don't really like talk about a lot of things that are like more personal to me, but I like to talk about different topics. Like, I don't think that's something that works right now. So you either have to be like hyper niche topic focused, or you have to be hyper personal brand and talk about more broad things. And really this comes into, what do you want to do? What are you going to not get bored with? What are you going to like want to do for the next 5 years, right? And because this is where we see people burn out, like majorly. We see people like me who've been on the platform for 9 years this year, which feels insane, being like, yeah, I'm tired of talking about the same shit. I don't want to talk about that for another second. If I have to talk about that topic one more time, I'm going to gouge my eyeballs out with my pen, right? You have that kind of thing. And if you want to be long-term on the platform, you have to really, really love what you're talking about. So I hope the like dichotomy, is that the right word? Yes, dichotomy. Division or contrast between two things. Totally the right word. So I hope that was not confusing, because I do think both things are trending right now on YouTube, especially as we go into the new year. And by the way, I know that can be hard as someone who's new to be like, well, which one do I choose? And so really it comes down to, what are you going to be most comfortable with? What could you do for the next 5 years? What do you like to talk about? And finding a way to fit that into what's working on YouTube. So if you want to go more broad, okay, cool, but you're going to have to be more open with your personal life. You're going to have to be more of a personal brand. You're going to have to kind of be in that realm and also tap into how to like take those topics and make them work with what YouTube wants. And then on the other side of that, if you want to go like hyper niche, then you're going to want to tap into that and really like brand yourself in a way where everybody knows that you're the person for X topic. I am moving my style of content into kind of a different style of content than I've ever done here on the platform. As we go throughout this year, you'll see it. I'm not gonna spoil anything yet, but you'll see it. You'll see the change. You'll see it happening, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm done. I'm bored. I'm like tired of talking about the same things over and over again. But while where I'm going is maybe a bit more broad than like a super niche down topic channel, I have to find a way to make sure there's a through line in that. Because if you're just broad for the sake of being broad, then YouTube's not gonna know who's supposed to watch your channel. It's not gonna know who to show it to. It's not gonna know any of these things it needs to know to grow your channel. So I've gotta make sure there's a through line. Like, what is the through line? Who are the people that wanna watch this? How can I tap into their personality traits and who they are to make sure that even though I'm gonna go a little bit broad, the same person would wanna watch video A as would wanna watch video J, right? So how can I do that? That's really what you have to figure out. All right, so to summarize, top 3 trends that I'm seeing: shorts that lead to long videos, TV style content, so longer form, episodic, things like that, and hyper niched topic channels / really broad personal brand channels who understand who the through line is and going through that. Again, I understand that is polar opposites, but both things can work on the platform. 2 things can be true at once, you know? All right, stay tuned for that video that I was telling y'all about. Stay tuned for all my videos coming up soon. They're all super fun. And actually, to help me with the video I'm filming, I would love to hear in the comments below where you see YouTube going right now. Like, as a viewer, as a creator, whatever you are of the platform, how do you see YouTube shifting and changing right now? Like, what kind of content do you see doing the best? What kind of creator do you see doing the best? What kind of topics do you see doing the best? Like, what kind of thing do you see working best here on YouTube right now? I'd love to hear that in the comments below. And until next time, bye.